a group of members from the Jamaican diaspora gathered outside of the Jamaican consulate for a demonstration and what turned out also to be a counter-protest. The main demonstration, organized by the Jamaica Diaspora Crime Intervention and Prevention Task Force, led by Dr. Rupert Francis and Mr. Wilfred Rattigan, sought to pressure the Jamaican government to take responsibility for its actions. However, a small counter-protest led by Dr. Clovis Nelson emerged in response, accusing the main demonstration and demonstrators of being politically driven. Now, you would recall that we had Dr. Rupert Francis on with us, as Jamaicans would say, day before yesterday, right? 2 days ago. And then yesterday, we had Dr. Clovis Nelson giving his side of the story. Well, there's another gentleman who is quite a player in this situation and whose name has been called a lot, and that is Mr. Wilfred Rattigan. And we searched and searched and searched, and we found him, and so he's our guest in the big story this morning. Good morning to you, Wilfred Rattigan. How are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you, Richard B. Blessings to you, your staff, and your listening audience, sir. Pleasure to be here. We're
happy to have you, Mr. Rattigan. The actions of last week have definitely put your name out there in the spotlight. How do you, first of all, respond to accusations that your participation is clearly politically motivated, your participation in that demonstration? How do you respond to that criticism, really?
Very, very simple. And that's exactly what it is. It's criticism. Richard B., I'm a practicing attorney, and the way we do business in this profession is that you want the law to be on your side when you go to court. That's the best case you could possibly have. Mm-hmm. If the law is not on your side, then you try and twist the facts to fit the law. And if you don't have the facts to do so, then you go after the person. And that's exactly what's going on here when they say it's political, because they're not addressing the issue. No one so far has pointed to a single issue raised to say, you guys are not telling the truth. Instead, you hear, oh, they're politically aligned. Oh, they're partisan. Oh, they're PNP thugs. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're that. And at the end of the day, the issues are still there on the table, unaddressed. For example, they must tell me that the 2016 and the 2020 manifesto, JLP manifesto, that talk about fixing the water drought problem, they must tell me that it's not true, that it's political. When I point the accusing finger of blame at them and say, look, you said you were going to fix the problem in 2016, you said you were going to fix the problem in 2020, and yet we even have visitors, tourists, protesting with Jamaicans about the lack of water in the grill. You must tell me that it's a lie. You must tell me that the Prime Minister's his statutory declarations for 2021, 2022 that have not been verified by the very agency, the very anti-corruption agency that he brought into existence in 2017, 2018. You must tell me that that's a lie. You must tell me that when he requested training from this anti-corruption group, he received the training, not only the Prime Minister, but the cabinet as well as the opposition and civil servants. And when asked to sign a code of conduct encompassing 7 principles of good governance, including honesty and transparency and ethical behavior, and you refuse to sign it, you must tell me that that's a lie. You must also tell me it's a lie that the government did not amend the Constitution to allow the DPP to get an extension in violation of the Constitution, and that the Court of Appeal said, no, she's not entitled to this. You must tell me that that's a lie. You must tell me it's a lie that the state of emergency, or states of emergency, proclaimed by the Governor General as recommended by the Prime Minister, that they picked people up off the streets, violated their rights by detaining them without charging them for an inordinate period of time, and that the court ruled that these actions were unconstitutional. You must tell me that's a lie. You must tell me that the poverty rate, which is approaching 17%, you must tell me that that's a lie. You must tell me about the illicit six. You must tell me that's a lie. See, Richard B., they cannot deal with the issue. So what they do, they start arguing labels.
Now,
and the issues I raise, whether you're PNP, JLP, UIC, up Jamaica, wherever you're from, these are facts.
Wilfred, I'm getting a sense that many of these are issues that have been out there for some time, but I don't know if I'm getting it wrong. But I sense that there's greater either alarm or activity surrounding these issues and bringing them to the fore. Would you say that yourself and your group have gotten much more active at this time, and if so, why?
Because it's simple. It's Jamaica has a journalism
deficit,
9-day wonder concept where things come out and people hear about it, they talk about it. 9 days go by, and then those stories are overtaken by other stories, and then they're forgotten. And we're saying, do not forget them. You know why? Because people are suffering. They must tell me it's a lie. Richard B., that the Auditor General said 1.7 trillion, approximately 1.7 trillion Jamaican dollars, missing, unaccounted for, over the past 10 years. They must tell, Richard B., that amounts to 10 billion US dollars. Imagine what that money could do to help poor people.
Persons are out there.
Here's the problem, Richard B.
Tell me.
There's something called a social contract, where a politician goes to a community and says, listen, the people in power, they're not doing what they're supposed to do for you. So you give me your vote, and I will fix the problem. The people did that in 2016, and they did it again in 2020. And go and take a poll and ask them if their lives are any better from 2016. Most of them, I submit to you, will say no.
Persons listening now, especially in the Jamaican diaspora, hearing you speak like that would maybe be forming the impression that what you're really saying is that those in government are not fit to be there. Is that what you're really saying?
Look, let me answer you from this angle. We're not asking for a change of government. We're asking for government to change. And if it means change, and if that change means, okay, you know what, we're going to do what we promised to do for the past 8 years and we haven't done, we're going to start doing them. Or if it means the prime minister has to say, you know what, I need to move some of these square pegs from trying to fit them into round holes. For example, you have a medical doctor who's in charge of national security. No law enforcement experience, Richard B. You have a marketing person in charge of health. You have a finance person in charge of education. You have a mathematician in charge of finance. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Richard B., what we have here is a breakdown. We have a breakdown of the system simply because we have the wrong people in the right places. Mm-hmm. And it's no wonder that what we're seeing now is a complete failure based on people being put in positions where they have no business. Mm-hmm. And we cannot afford for this to continue because at the end of the day, Richard, this is not fun and games, Richard. People are suffering. Talk to the Jamaican people. Richard B., yesterday I got a voice note from a lady in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Brought tears to my eyes. Wow. She has 2 sons, well-educated, can't find work. She's struggling. And she said in her voice note, Mr. Rattigan, the first chance I get to leave Jamaica, I'm out of here. She said, I love Jamaica, but I can't stay here. There's no hope for us.
Well,
those are the cries and those are the pleas I hear every day.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned Dr. Chang, who is a medical doctor in charge of national security, and it reminds me of comments because you obviously would be aware of that there are some who are totally against what you and Dr. Rupert Francis are doing, while there are many who would also be in support of what you're doing. So when we spoke with Dr. Rupert Francis the other day, we started getting a lot of comments, and I'm going to throw one out to you and ask you to respond. One person, in reference to you, Mr. Rattigan, wrote me and said, as to Mr. Rattigan, he's an FBI reject. He wanted the commissioner job, that's Commissioner of Police job, and he's still bitter that he didn't get it. It's a tough question, but I'm going to ask you to address it.
All right. There's a minister who spoke in that tone and that form, mm-hmm. and that minister right now has been sued. So when you see, the thing is, people use language carelessly, mm-hmm. and they shouldn't. Now, I could go after these people, but these people, they have nothing to offer. I would be actually wasting my time. Now, the idea that I am upset at the government because I wasn't provided the job or offered the job of police commissioner. Richard B., let me be absolutely clear, and I want you to pay attention to this, because if this argument should come up again, you have the information now that you don't even have to ask me this question or ask anybody this question.
Okay.
The first time I applied for the job of police commissioner, you know who was the prime minister?
Was it PJ Patterson?
No, it was Portia
Simpson. Portia Simpson Miller, yeah.
Right. And what party is she?
She's People's National Party, former president.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So if the idea is that and some people have said I'm vindictive because I didn't get the job. So if that's the case, I should be vindictive against both parties, because they give the impression that my application was rejected only under the JLP, and that's not true. It was rejected by the PNP as well. No, let's go beyond that. Mm-hmm. I grew up in JLP neighborhoods, and I grew up in PNP neighborhoods in Jamaica. When I left Jamaica, I could not vote because I didn't reach the age to vote. I had no interest in what was going on in Jamaica until about 2-3 years ago. And the idea that because I was not accepted for a position, then I should forever hold my peace about injustices and wrongs and corruption and all these things that I see happening is foolishness. Think about it, Richard B. This is what they're saying. Because I didn't get the job, I shouldn't speak truth to power. I shouldn't assemble the facts and inform my people about what's going on. Think about how ridiculous that statement is. And that is exactly what they're saying. They're saying because you didn't get the job, you have no right to speak about the ills of what's going on in Jamaica. And let me be absolutely clear. Minister Robert Morgan mentioned this. He said that I survive on a steady diet of misinformation, essentially, right? He said, negativity, he said. And he said, I'm negative. He's watched my programs and I'm negative about Jamaica. Again, let me be absolutely clear. I'm not negative about Jamaica. I love my country and I love my people. What I dislike is the governance of Jamaica. I dislike the people who are running Jamaica into the ground. That is my complaint.
When you look at the options that we have, I mean, obviously we have two major political parties. If it's not the JLP, then it would have to be the People's National Party. Based on the track record and the intent that you're picking up from the other side, meaning the People's National Party, is it that you believe that we'd be better governed if they were, for instance, in charge of government now, or would they be making these same kinds of criticisms based on track record? Okay.
Now, Richard B., I care about people, not politics.
Yes.
I care about policies, not party.
Okay.
I don't care about color. I care about my people. And if the PNP, if they were in power right now, they would be getting the same attention from the group. I don't care if you're PNP or JLP. All I'm saying is, remember what I started out by saying, right? I said to you, I'm not about regime change. I'm not about changing government. I'm about the government changing, meaning that the government doing what is right. Now, part of that means that I have to educate my people and let them become informed voters, not legacy voters. Not vote for a party because your mother votes for it and your grandmother votes for it and your neighbor. No. You look at the facts and you examine the facts and you determine if this party is acting in your best interest, your family's best interest, your community's best interest, and by extension, Jamaica's best interest. And you vote for that party. That is completely between you, your candidate, and your God. It has nothing to do with me.
Yes.
What has to do with me is to inform you. So if the PNP should take over, they'll be getting the same attention. And by the way, I have a program called Reason with Rattigan on Saturdays on Reggae Global Radio and YouTube from 3 o'clock until almost midnight. This Saturday, we're going to be talking about some of the PNP politicians as well. We don't hold back. We don't care what party you are. We care about how the people are treated and respected and attended to. That's our concern.
I'm happy I got a chance to speak with you this morning and to hear you express yourself the way you have. Wilfred, we're out of time for this segment, but I want to thank you. And I know that there are many other activities that are planned by your grouping, the task force. We ask it that you feed us with the information so that we can share it with our listening audience and they can stay in the know as to some of the activities that are planned. Thanks for your time this morning and have a good day.
Likewise, my brother. Take care of yourself.
All the best to you. Wilfred Rattigan, ladies and gentlemen. That was, of course, the big story.